Let's go to Tim Blair now, live in the Wimmera in Victoria. Good to catch up with you, mate. Welcome to 2025.
Thank you.
And it's nice for you and I to catch up, but it doesn't seem that Anthony Albanese is very keen to catch up with Donald Trump. He doesn't seem to have any plans in his diary to try to speak to the new leader of the free world. You'd think be pretty high on your priority, especially when you've got issues like AUKUS to deal with. But he said, I might see him at the Quad, which probably won't happen until after the election anyway.
Yeah, I think people sort of forget as well that Albanese was a big Biden guy. He wasn't just, supporting that side of politics. He personally was very invested in the whole Biden project. I remember during the speech prior to the last U.S. election, the 2020 election, and Biden gave Albanese gave this little fist bump of, Joe Biden. So he was all deep in with Joe and met him several times, as any photo library in any newspaper will tell you. And then Joe kind of left everybody in a way during the last election campaign, and he's stuck with Donald Trump, about whom he's said some words over the past few while. Yes, he's in a bit of strife.
He sure has. They all have. Now, the other delicious prospect of all this is that going to the inauguration to represent Australia will be Penny Wong, and she'll be hosted by Kevin Rudd. Those two have crossed swords in the past, and of course, they're both well-known Trump haters. Have a look at this cartoon by John Spooner in The Australian today. A fantastic cartoon. She's got Penny Wong there with the Palestinian scarf on, and they're wearing, can't fit the MAGA hat over the top of it, says the DFAT officials. I mean, this is the point. Both Trump and Wong have to absolutely pretend that they're in there supporting the Trump ceremony.
Penny Wong and Kevin Rudd. I mean, has this nation ever generated two greater diplomats? two people at the absolute peak of their game in smoothing over issues and bringing like people always talk about bringing nations together and how leaders can bring whole countries, whole disparate communities together. Rudd and Wong could historically never bring together their own individual staffers.
They couldn't bring together the gang of four.
Exactly. Like everything they do is factionalised and split and divided. So, I don't think this is going to be just an awkward situation. It could be much worse. We could be coming out of this subject to some unusual new Trump-themed trade divisions. Who knows with Kevin and Penny Wong involved.
I'm looking forward to the moment where Kevin's sitting next to Penny in the stands at the inauguration and just calls her a splitter.
Yep, very Monty Python, absolutely.
Meanwhile, Joe Biden is talking climate change again. Have a look at the outgoing president.
I know some in the incoming administration are skeptical about the need for clean energy. They don't even believe climate change is real. I think they come from a different century. They're wrong. They are dead wrong. It's the single greatest existential threat to humanity.
Yeah, I suppose it is now that Joe Biden's gone, but it shows you where he is, basically telling the American people they got it wrong by electing the new lot. And you got to wonder about these climate protesters. Have a look at this carry-on in London where some Just Stop Oil activists have defaced Charles Darwin's grave, which is inside Westminster Abbey. I thought we were going to some overlay there. Let's have a look at a clip of this.
2024 was the hottest year on record. We have already passed through the 1.5 degree that was supposed to keep us safe. Millions are being displaced, California is on fire, and 3/4 of all wildlife has disappeared since the 1970s.
Our government's plans will bring us to 3 degrees of warming.
Good Lord, a couple of teal voters there, obviously. But what amuses me about this, they're defacing Charles Darwin's grave, where I always think these protesters are living proof that evolution peaked a decade or two ago.
That's right, yeah. Charles Darwin, who conceived of the entire theory and backed it up with scientific rigour. And then you've got these two who haven't been bothered much by evolution at all in their lives. And for these people and for Biden to keep going on about California as though this is a great proof of the evils of climate change. California is entirely left-wing. It's a massive left-wing enterprise, and I think that we should not ever lose focus on the fact that they all believe in climate change and did nothing to prevent fires. If you know that climate change, if you believe that climate change is going to send awful flames and destruction to your community, why wouldn't you clear brush? Why would you remove fuel sources? Why would you do all these things? They didn't do these things. This is a management disaster, not a climate disaster, and they know it, which is why they've redoubled the madness.
Yeah, they're driving Teslas, and that was going to stop the bushfires, supposedly. Thanks for joining us, Tim. Catch up again later in the week.